Coach, how you doing, Coach? Coach, I'll die for you, Coach. I just want you to believe in me. I just wanted you to believe in me. Let's go to the Lions.
And they basically told me if I'm there, it's a possibility they're going to take me. So I had my phone right next to me, ringer on all the way up. Kept checking it, I was nervous, but when I got that call, it was just, I don't even know how to describe it, the feeling.
The Lions take one of my favorite players in this draft class, Isaac TeSlaa out of Arkansas. I'm giving this an A+. Almost 6'4", 214 pounds, ran a 4.43 at the combine.
What's going on, guys? It is Aiden Hutchinson.
What's up, man? It's your boy Amon-Ra St. Brown.
Greetings and salutations to everyone out there in YouTube land. This is Dan Skipper, offensive weapon for the Detroit Lions. Make sure you all help support Lions Talk Live, Coach Dan, by clicking on that like and subscribe button. Everybody, woo!
Well, greetings and salutations to everybody out there in YouTube land. I am your host, once again, Dan Thornton. I want to thank you all for joining me here today. Lions Talk Live, Tuesday morning show edition. And as we all get it, the Lions control their own fate for the playoffs. They've got a whole lot on the line. We all understand there's a whole lot of Debbie Downers in the Lions fan base community right now. And what we can say about that is, hey, these are just people who are really passionate about the team. They want to see success. They want to see us move forward. They want to see us make the playoffs, win the Super Bowl. All that can still happen. I've covered it long enough. Most of you have watched the NFL long enough to understand one thing. You get in the playoffs, that's all that matters. You can get to the Super Bowl. How many times have we seen, man, just in the last, say, 20 years, a team make it as a wild card and win the Super Bowl? Statistically speaking, it happens almost 50% of the time, so 45%. Lions do have enough firepower on both sides of the line of scrimmage to make an impact in the playoffs, but they've got to get there. We're going to talk about that a little bit more during the main topic of the day. I believe, but I don't know, that Anthony from Roar Lions UK is going to join us about halfway through the show. We'll see if that holds water, but it is Tuesday and typically comes on around halfway through the show. All right, before we get to the main topic of the day, before we get into the 5 headlines out, before whatever else we get into in between here, there, and wherever, if you haven't yet subscribed to Lions Talk Live, pretty pleased with sugar on top, maybe even some Mountain Dew on top, consider doing so. We are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 subs away from hitting 15,700. If you can help out with that, that surely would be awesome and grateful for me to you about that. Also, while you're doing that, hit the thumbs up button, the like button, hit all the buttons. We try to get every episode of the show between 200, 300, 400 more thumbs up or likes. I do not have any Cyber Week deals for you guys. I don't really sell merchandise on here, even though some of you guys do ask. Apologies for that. One last thing, if you would be so kind, maybe if you're looking for a little bit better life overall, some better physical awareness, physical, feelings. Some of you guys have already done this, but for those who ask from time to time, go over to the wife's website, or just message her at jensavagefitness.com. Check this out. If you guys know, most of you, I guess it was maybe a year ago, my scores, my blood pressure, cholesterol, everything was not the greatest. She put me on some of these peptides. A number of you guys have used it. And hey, all I can say is my numbers keep coming down, which is good in case you didn't know. So if you have a half second of time, maybe go over to jensavagefitness.com. Check it out. You're probably pretty happy with those results. All right, with all that done, set out of the way, let's get this show rocking, rolling, going, and moving forward with 5 headlines now. All right, we got some headlines coming at you this morning. The first one, Christian Mahogany injury update. Detroit Lions guard, quote, 100%, end quote, playing in 2025. Dave Burkett, Detroit Free Press. This guy heals pretty fast. That's what I'm going to say. You have a broken ankle / leg. Usually you're going to be out for longer than where he's been out. He's been out 5 weeks, and he's already back on the practice field. If you guys didn't catch the video yesterday I put up there, what I can say is he's on the sidelines doing work with the training staff and departments. He's showing a lot of mobility, and he spoke to Dave Burkett. You can see him out there. He thinks he can be back in the lineup next week, and that'd be against the Rams. The Lions, after you play Thursday, you do have basically, a 10-day break between games. This would be a big win, in my opinion, for the Lions because you know what? You were in a playoff push. You've got to win Thursday for that push to really start ramping up going forward. We'll dive into that in a few minutes during the main topic of the day. Mahogany would give you a lot more run blocking. You could say better pass blocking for sure, without a shadow of doubt, assuming that ankle is good enough for him to be in the lineup. I doubt if the Lions coaching staff will put him on the field if it's not. But with him out there, with improvement out of Taylor Decker, Penei Sewell healing up, Ratledge, I think he's going to be playing with that neck stinger, compressed nerve in his neck for the rest of the season. They'll have to address that in the offseason. But I think the rookie has played well. You start getting them out there, we'll see what they do at the center spot, whether it's Colleen, Glasgow, or whoever else. But the Lions start having a whole lot more abilities to do things up front and imposing their will on opposing defensive lines moving forward. Mahogany, I like him. I think he's going to be a star for the Lions for a long time to come. Him and Ratledge, while they're going through some growing opportunities, some learning opportunities this year, they are the future of this offensive line. Penei Sewell's no old man by any stretch of the imagination, but going into the playoffs, if you could have him out there and maybe some other people contribute, this Lions offense could start really moving back to what we saw the first 5 or 6 weeks of the regular season prior to his injury. All right, well, that was great news. Debbie Downer news here for you. Terrion Arnold out for season. Will undergo shoulder surgery. Story by Chris Miller of Clutch Points. Initially, it was reported when it first came out and got on air that he was going to just miss the next 4 weeks. Then about a half hour after I went out air, they kind of recirculated the story and upgraded it to he's out for the year because of that shoulder injury. You guys understand he's played through that shoulder surgery the vast majority of the season. He's done everything he can to be on the field for the Lions. I appreciate that from an athlete because the reality of the situation is that shoulder's been shot for probably about 2 months. He's found a way to help out, even give pretty good run support. Maybe not the greatest, but pretty good run support overall this year. But if you got a busted up shoulder, it's hard to slam into somebody knowing what's going to happen with that shoulder. He's going to be out for the rest of the season. Lions get to move forward. The nice part is the Lions have Rocky El-Singh more than likely scheduled to fill in for him, and he's done a phenomenal job, my humble opinion, the last month and a half. Who else is going to be out there? Well, DJ Reed, his first game back against the Giants, I didn't think he looked good, but he looked pretty rusty. Last week, I thought he looked much better, but still showing some signs of rust. My anticipation is this week, next week, he's probably looking more like himself, just as that rust has been fully removed from him. Who else gets in the lineup? That'll be the $1 million question. We'll have to wait and see. All right, Lions host free agent visit with wide receiver Andrew Armstrong, NFL Trade Rumors Co. by Tony Williams. Is this big news? Probably not. Is it news? I would say so. The former Texas A&M commodity is only 25 years old. He was an all-SEC component in 2025. Won a bunch of awards. The guy's got some wheels. He's got some hands. He can get open. Could he be a potential diamond in the rough? We'll have to wait and see. The Dolphins did originally get him earlier in the season. They've let him go since. He put up phenomenal numbers at the collegiate game, but one thing I've learned a long time ago as a coach or reporter, there's a vast difference between college and the NFL. Just because somebody did something in college does not mean they can replicate the NFL. Lions are kicking the tires on this one. They might have something there, but the only way we're going to find out is if they can get off the practice squad into the 53-man roster and then onto the field. Wait and see what shakes out. All right, Detroit Lions may change scheme up to provide more pass rush. Detroit Lions on SI by John Macron. We reported this to you guys yesterday that we had some, information, I guess you could say, that the Lions were going into Monday's practice specifically to address the pass rush or lack thereof going forward in the season. Lions defense, this opinion does not need to be your opinion. I think it's played pretty well. Other than the last 2 games, man, you gave 18 Mississippis before that quarterback, whoever you want to say, Jordan Love, Jameson Winston, ever felt any kind of pressure on average. If the Lions can get that right, get more pressure home on the quarterback, that's going to help a lot. Dak Prescott is on fire. He is, I'd say, in the top 10, maybe the top 5 for MVP consideration. If you can stop the Cowboys offense, you have a golden opportunity to win this game. And you can see against the Panthers, if you want to go back and kind of look forward for a game against the Rams, when you get to Matthew Stafford, you cause some problems. You cause a fumble, you cause a pick 6, yada, yada. Anytime any quarterback gets happy feet, gets uncomfortable, good things happen for the opposing defense. There's a whole lot of Debbie Downers saying Goff has played trash this year. I would respectfully disagree and just say, if you can't give him more than a 1.5 seconds to throw the ball, no quarterback's going to last in there. Even the greatest quarterback in Lions history, Eric Kramer, is going to not play the greatest if you give pressure on him. And yes, I'm joking with Eric Kramer. He's still one of my favorites of all time, though. All right, last of the 5 headlines now. Dan Campbell, quote, no indication, end quote, of Frank Ragnow's plans for 2026. Story by Josh Apel of NBC Sports. I'll throw this one out there at you guys and just say this. I do think Frank's going to be back next year, unless there's something from a medical standpoint that slows him down. We all know this guy's played through 1 billion injuries in his career, and some of them pretty severe. I was talking to the wife about it yesterday, about last year, currently his final season in the NFL. He played with a torn pec muscle. Yes, they gave him a whole week to let that thing heal, but we all also understand that thing was torn throughout the rest of the season. He was, for the most part, playing with one arm out there blocking guys. I think Ragnow needed a little time off. Most of you aren't aware, and I'm not going to go into the full details because I don't like reporting on stuff like that. But his wife and he had some personal stuff at home to handle. That's why I think he ultimately retired. But now that they've got the home life, righted, everything good there, I think he wants to be back in the locker room with guys. He's only 29 years old, and even though he'll miss this season, he's going to come back and be 30, play into 31. I think he could come back and play 2, maybe 3 more years if that's really what he wants and the body holds up. You guys also know when it comes to his foot, they can't do anything more with that big toe on his right foot. I mean, it's surgically as done as it's going to be. As far as the other ailments, I just think Frank Ragnow's got one heck of a pain tolerance. So will he be back next year? My anticipation is yes, and that's probably good news for the Lions going forward. It won't help out this year, though. All right, with all the 5 headlines on the way, let's roll on over to the main topic of the day. All right, we got some stuff for you guys. I'm going to pull up on the screen. We're all going to be doing this. Hey, let's face it, it's that time of year. Lions are really just one game out of the playoff spot, the final playoff spot, the wild card spot. So let's just go through this. The 49ers, you're probably looking at one of the teams in front of you that have the best opportunity for you to catch. And you know what? As you can see in their schedule, they've got a bit of a challenge. Now, they're on a bye this week. They do come back and play the Tennessee Titans, and I'd say, man, that would be a massive upset if the Titans could win that one. But then you've got the Colts. Then you got the Bears. And then you got the Seattle Seahawks. We all get it. Those final 3 games, that's going to be a stretch for you. It's not going to be easy by any stretch of the imagination. So could they do something there? I think so. You look at the Detroit Lions and the playoff standings, the divisional leaders, Chicago Bears. Here's the good part about the Bears. You guys understand these final 5 games, they ain't easy for the Bears. And you have the tiebreaker currently over them. You can control that tiebreaker a whole lot more by winning the final game of the regular season in Soldier Field. You do that, you've got a real bind over the Bears because now you're 2 games behind currently, but you do have the tiebreaker. You win that game, you really only need one more team to trip them up if you can win out. We'll see what shakes out. Los Angeles Rams, yes, they lost the Panthers, and you know what? You get to face them with a 10-day mini bye. We'll have to see if that's a big deal or not. It also, from a travel perspective, you guys get it. You have to travel, whatever it is, 5-6 hours in the air to get out to LAX, get ready for that game. Because the Lions are on an extended week off, you'll have a little extra time to try to Scooby-Doo that if you want. Number 3, Philadelphia, while you lose the tiebreaker to them, they're also not playing great. The Eagles, if you guys remember, I think it was 3 years ago, they lost something like 80 games in a row, thought they were going to make the playoffs, and then they actually got to the playoffs and just got rolled by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Tampa Bay Buccaneers, I think, if you were in the South, you would roll that division. You got the tiebreaker over them, but they're going to win the South, I think. We'll see if that holds water, but you do currently have the tiebreaker over them. Seattle Seahawks, another team we're going to diagnose here. If you give me a second to bring this one up, and let's look at their Seattle. Okay, well, I guess I can't find where I saved their remaining schedule. Sorry, I thought I had that all popped up here, but apparently I misplaced their schedule, so I won't bring that up on the screen. Well, I can't believe that that happens. But it happens when it happens, I guess. What are you going to do? But anyways, with their remaining schedule, the Seahawks, I think they've got also a challenging path. And here, let me see if I can fix this real quick and get it up on the screen for you guys momentarily. Let me copy it. Let me paste it. Seattle. All right. All right. Well, whatever. I'm messing things up here. Let me see. Now I just got to load it. Yeah, I'm trying to do stuff live on here. Not ideal, but hey, it is what it is, right? All right, there we go. All right, so Seahawks, let's look at their final. Week 18, obviously against the 49ers. That's not going to be the easiest one for them to win. Look at this, Week 17. How many of you would have thought maybe 5 weeks ago, this is a primetime matchup for the NFL, let alone the Seahawks and the Panthers. Panthers could win this one. If they do, they're doing the Lions a solid, but they're also in playoff consideration now. They can catch the Lions or other teams. Now, you also have them playing the LA Rams. Rams could do us a big solid there. And then, of course, you got the other one against the Colts. And the week before that, you've got them, or this weekend, you've got against the Falcons. Is it possible they could lose 4 of those? Maybe all 5? I think it is possible. If they could do that, and then you go back to the playoff seeding, man, how different are the wild card spots? Now, Seattle's got a 2-game edge on you. You've got to win out. But if they stall out here, you know what? Hey, I like to always think positive about things, and we'll see what shakes out there. Lions, though, biggest thing we all know, you've got to win the next game in front of you. You guys understand this is a winnable game. It's also a losable game. We can all probably have the same opinion about the Detroit Lions this season, 2025-26. They're a good team. But there are a lot of good teams in the NFC right now. Lions have just enough holes for teams to take advantage of. Whether you want to credit that to Brad Holmes not addressing some holes, what do you want to say because of injuries? Let's face it, the Lions have enough firepower to beat anybody in the NFL. Especially if Laporta somehow does come back later this year, St. Brown gets on the field, you've got enough there. Mahogany gets back, you know what, that helps the line. Maybe not a ton, but just enough that maybe instead of giving Goff 1.5 seconds throw, maybe do the unforeseeable and give him 2.2 seconds throw. Man, it'll feel like all day for him. Gibbs, you guys understand him and Monty are still probably the best backfield out there. The defense, you got to get pressure on a quarterback. If you do that, you can win some of these games going down the stretch. How much will it change in the next 2 to 3 weeks? If the Lions could somehow win against the Cowboys and the Rams, that's no small ask right there. You know what? You're probably going to do pretty dang well as far as feeling about the last few games of the season. Because if you win, I'd say, I'll throw this at you, even if you split between the Cowboys and the Rams, you get one of those wins. Now you look at the Steelers. I think the Lions can mop the field with the Steelers. Probably on Christmas. I don't think the Vikings have a whole lot to play for at that point. I'm guessing they're probably phoned it in. And the Lions, in this scenario, would have a whole lot to play for. I think the Lions get some revenge and get a big win. And then that would set up the coup de grace for maybe all the marbles. Maybe it's a playoff spot. Maybe it's for the NFC North. Whatever it is, that's going to be a real meaningful game. And it's great for the NFL. Those who want to wear the tinfoil hats or whatever are going to say this. The NFL planned all of it. Ben Johnson against Dan Campbell, playoff spot on the line. But there's a whole lot to play for still going down the stretch. All that said, you got to beat the Cowboys. You got to beat the Rams. One of these 2 games you've got to get. MCDC, here's what I'd say. You're a gambler. Gamble. And I know nobody wants to hear that, but I don't think you're turning that switch off of MCDC. Only thing I would ask if you're around the 50-yard line and if your defense is playing well, maybe punt the ball. He's not going to listen to me. He's not going to listen to you. He might go for it on, I don't know. He might go for it on 4th and 49 from the Lions' own 1-yard line or something. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see what shakes out. And I know that's going to drive some of us nuts. It is what it is. Just wish him well because that's all we can do. All right, we got about, 12 minutes until Anthony gets here. What do you guys think the Lions should do to fix the pass rush? Let me ask you that. I know I threw out some stuff at you that I had heard yesterday. Brian Branch is going to basically, the last month of the season or whatever it is, 5 weeks, he's going to live right at the defensive line of scrimmage. He's going to play some nickel back. He's going to play some linebacker. He's going to blitz a whole lot. I like that idea a lot. I like the idea of getting some speed on the field. I personally don't mind the big line. What do I mean by that? Aiden Hutchinson one side, Ali McNeil the other side, Tyleek the Freak Williams in the middle along with DJ Reader. You're shutting down a lot of runs there. I like that when you put some sort of nickel back, safety, whatever up at the line to try to force the outside. force one of those tight ends to have to come in and block a little bit more, running backs, or maybe a offensive tackle slide over. Get some speed on the field, get after that quarterback. You keep leaving cornerbacks or safeties on an island, or I guess to be fair with Alex Anzalone and Campbell, linebackers on an island for 3 to 4 seconds. They're not covering everybody. As good as they are, they're not going to cover somebody 80% of the time, let alone 50% of the time. What would you do to get more pressure on the quarterback offensively? Who knows? St. Brown did not go yesterday. That shouldn't shock any of us. My anticipation is they're probably going to let him rest that ankle until Wednesday. Maybe have him do some light stuff. If he looks good enough, then maybe he plays Thursday. And that would be a big boon for us. If not, here's what I'd say. You saw enough out of Tom the Killer Kennedy. You saw enough about number one wide receiver Jameson Williams, amongst others, that you should have some area of belief that this Lions offense can move the ball. You still got Montgomery. You still got Gibbs. Zane Zylstra, I don't think he can block anybody from getting a cold or falling into the water and getting wet, but I do think he'd run out and catch passes. I do think he's pretty skilled in that regard. So from a tight end standpoint, you are going to get somebody who's got some abilities out there if they elevate him. As far as the other Lions wide receiver options, Khalif Raymond, we'll see if that ankle's good enough to go. In short, you got firepower over there. You can still do stuff even without some of the weapons we're currently losing. I don't know who's going to play center. We'll have to wait and see. But St. Brown, let that thing rest. My anticipation is he's going to find a way to get on that field and play, and probably play at a pretty high level, pretty focused on Thursday. All right, let's get to the comments section, see what you guys have to say. We'll see Anthony maybe momentarily. I have not heard anything from him, so I don't know if he's going to be here, but I do assume he will be, so wait and see. All right, Jameer's going to kick us off with greetings and salutations, Duke Crew family, and back at you. Bo, good morning, Duke Crew. Flirting with disaster, exclamation point. Mountain of difficulty ahead. Woo! Hey, I like all that. Well said. Jim, TA on IR and out for the year. That does appear so. It was originally reported, sorry about that, guys, Jim, that he was going to miss 4 weeks. I think the Lions are probably doing the right thing by letting him just miss the rest of the regular season. I mean, who knows in the playoffs? Could he return? I think you get to week 5 or 6. Maybe that thing's had enough time to heal, but if he's having shoulder surgery, it's going to take a while for it to heal fully. Otherwise, you're just going to re-aggravate the injury and cause more problems. Just say, Kate, morning all. I look across the NFC and believe we can beat anyone in it. I agree with that. But we have enough holes in this season, whereas the top 5 to 7 teams can also beat us. Yeah, I think that's basically what it comes down to. You have enough strengths to offset some of your weaknesses. You just don't have enough strengths to completely hide and negate your weaknesses. So I agree with you there. Bo, ratchet up your hatchet, Molly. We have work to do. I like the way you're thinking. Just say K. So Kirby is back to practicing, but Arnold is shut down for the year. Correct with that. Dang, we are beat up. We are indeed, but most NFL teams this late in the year are pretty much are. Let's see. Miller Ward got a 2-hour delay at work. Congratulations. Due to a pipe break, so I get to catch a morning live. Give me a woo, coach. You want to woo? I'll give you a quick one. 1, 2, and a 3. And there you go. Bo, dang, we're in a tight spot. Yes, we are. France Ferdinand. Win Thursday, we get to play staying alive. Lose, then it's mock draft season. I would say if you lose both of the next 2 games, yeah, the playoffs are gone at that point. You win 1 or 2. Can you imagine that if we beat both the Rams and the Cowboys? The fan base would be, chomping at the bits, talking playoffs, Super Bowls once again. But you know how you get the fans re-engaged? You win games. Boat 24-hour snow removal going on up here. Weather the storm, Duke Crew, we shall overcome. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I know a couple of my friends live up in the UP, and they said they already had like 40 inches of snow from the last few days. That's a ton of snow, man. Hookadoo. Good morning, Duke Crew. It's like the curse is still haunting our beloved Lions. Dan Damas, can you do something about this with your powers? I'll reach out to him, Hookie, and see what we can find out. But I can feel the city shaking France! Exclamation point. I'm down with that. Drake, we also get Mahogany against the Rams. How much help is he going to give us up front? I think quite a bit. And it's no disrespect to Yodi. It's no disrespect to anybody. I just simply think he's a better player than them. So anytime you get better, let's just say Yodi is a 5 out of 10. Even you say Mahogany's a 6 out of 10. That's better, right? Personally speaking, I think Mahogany lives this year between a 7 and 8 on a scale from 1 to 10. And Yodi's probably more like a 5 to 6. So there's some significant improvements there. And the more reps he gets, that kid's only going to get better. He's pretty young still. France, laughing out loud, Bo. I just want a win so bad Thursday. I think most of us do. Bo, It's the Cowboys in our house, exclamation point. Our house indeed. Jess, greetings, salutations, Duke Crew, and Coach. Hey, Coach, my daughter told me you look like Steve the Hare Harrington. I don't know what the heck that means, but she told me to tell you. I am aware of who that is. For those who've ever watched, what's that show on Netflix? It's one about, I don't know, people. It's like Dungeons and Dragons or something like that. Oh, man, I just watched it, too. Stranger Things. There you go. There's a guy in there. Yeah, makes his living off his hair, basically. We're going to do number 1, hate Jerry Jones. Number 2, I hate Dallas. So, France, you're spot on. Exclamation point. I'm down with that. Hookadoo, I don't like him or the Cowboys, but at least Jerry makes moves. He does indeed. Brad failed us in that this season. We get to the off season, whenever that is for Lions, we're all going to overly analyze that, the good, the bad, the right, the wrong. But to be fair to the Lions, like any front office, they're all going to do the same stuff. What could we have done differently? What should we have done? Learning opportunity sets in, I guess. JK, I don't know. I'll let the fates decide. Just don't lose, please. Yes, don't lose indeed. I like the way you're thinking. Bo, let's see. Slight alignment, slight picture, breathe, control, keep your eyes on the prize, and squeeze. Dak is going down. Man, that sounds like some sniper pre-shot regimen to me. What can we do? Duke Crew, who is that in the thumbnail? Christian Mahogany and Dan Campbell, just so you know. Susan Scott, win and keep the playoffs hopes going for another week or two. Lose and the lights get turned out real quick. Yeah, I think you would, if you should lose the next 2 games, then yeah, the playoffs are over. I mean, it would take a vast miracle for you to get in. But if you can win one of the next 2 or both of them, now things turn around in a hurry. JK, don't let Yak Singh get nose picked by refs, please. We'll see if we can avoid that. Trim Reaper, good morning, Coach Dan, the mighty Duke Crew, exclamation point, let's go Lions, woo, and good to see you as always. Jim, I think we can run the ball to the short, up the middle pass would work here. Hey, let's see if we can make that work there. Let's see, Carrie, morning, everyone, it's a very, very, very fine house. You got to like fine houses. Conan, could we or should we put Mahogany and Frazier in the offensive line these final games? Question mark. Would make us very big, young, athletic. I wouldn't disagree with it. Now, I don't think I think the problem you run into is, can any of them play center? Could somebody play center? And there lies the problem. I don't think he moved Ratledge at this point during his rookie year over. It's just tough for most rookies or even vets to go over and switch positions. Some can do it just because they played it enough where it's not a big deal. There would be some, redevelopment opportunities. But with Ratledge, I would say he can't do it. I just don't know enough if Mahogany can or Frazier could. I'd say, Bo, hit him a little straight carry. There you go. Hookadoo. K-Heat. One thing that really pees me off of not addressing someone opposite Hutch. I think most of us would agree with that. Can't speak for everybody. I think that is going to be one of the bigger conversation pieces this offseason. K-Heat, they have to this offseason. Otherwise, we need to trade Hutch. Okay. Hookadoo, our house, Carrie, morning, sir. Jim, Graham Glasgow to guard Colleen at center. Carrie, Bo, I believe Dan is going to bring it all this game to prove a point. You have to, man. You can't leave anything on the playing field from here on out. Steve Rogers, St. Brown out for this game. It's possible. Does that mean Tesla starts? Anyone know? Probably would be my answer, but I do not know that for sure. But we need our Warriors to come out to play. Yes, that's a 70s throwback reference. Hookadoo, in the city. Bo, Jessica, good morning. Back at you. JK paid DJ Reader $48 million plus $30 million guaranteed. Come on, where's the results? You got to get a pass rush to probably help the corners. Bo, somewhere out there, that horizon. Hookadoo, exclamation point. Stephanie, good morning, boys. Exclamation point. Finally, a day off from work, so I'm hitting the gym and listening in. Hope everyone has a blessed day. Stay safe out there. I would assume most of the roads are good by now. Hookadoo, love that movie, Bo. I think most of us did back in the day with an exclamation point. Miles Margaret, greetings, salutations, Lions, Pride, Faithful. There you go. Queen Mary, good morning, Duke Crew. Happy Tuesday. In my opinion, is yes, they can and they will. Let's lock in and ball out. I like the way you're foretelling the future, Queen Mary. Hitting more. Good morning, Coach Dan and Duke Crew. What a team. What podcast. Exclamation point. What a time. Be a Lions fan. Woo! It's a whole lot better than the early 2000s. How about that? JK can't let peeps steal that bag. No, indeed. Gary, out beneath the neon sky. There you go. Hookadoo. Rip morning, Miles Word. Did you make it by Grace Street yesterday? We'll find out. Trim Reaper, don't make Tori Apple angry. You wouldn't like her when she's angry. Could be accurate. 5 Fingers Freddy. I want to see Frazier, Tesla, Vaki, Ahmed down the stretch and get a lot of snaps. If we don't make the playoffs or remain in the chase for a spot. Yeah, develop some of the young guys. I got you. Joe Walsh of the Eagles knocked that song out of the park. There you go! Exclamation point. Amy, good morning. Are still ultra Duke crew. You gotta love the Duke crew, right, Amy? Good morning to you, Pat. Good morning, Amy. JK. I don't want to hear or see Rakestraw get another injury next season. Let's hope he doesn't. That'd be best for him. Mouseberg, I did. Hookadoo might even have seen your grandpappy's home. Not sure, but I rolled down the window and hollered into the street. Hookadoo said hi. Or says hi. There you go. Tori Apple, I need to move down south. I'm over the snow already. Some people are. Bo, I know there must be something better, and I can't stay another night. Okay? Hookadoo. It was the house with the detached garage right where the two streets cross each other. Bo, yeah, Tori, the snow is all over me. Yeah, in some parts of the state, I know it's gotten covered big time. Carrie Five Fingers just want Ahmed to stay healthy and get his reps next season. Is the start of the story. Okay, we'll see if that happens. Amy, good morning, Pat Rock. I think all the fans need to wear number 22's name. Our new facility, Bobby Lane Memorial. We have tried everything else. Yeah, got to see what we can do. Dreamer, it's freezing cold. It happens. Jen, good morning. All back at you, Jen. How you doing? Mousemarker, laughing out loud. Hookadoo was right by it then. Hookadoo, thanks for driving by there for me. Mousemarker smiling. Lauren, good morning. Coach Dan and the Duke crew. Woo! Back at you. As always, my friend, thanks for everything you do. Mark, you can't really say the Lions' curse has been broken until they win the NFC Championship. I'll go with that. JK, it is Jack Frost. Cold. Okay. Gary, just the way the Cowgirls like it. Freezing. Well, unfortunately, it's not freezing inside Ford Field. Mastoff, long-serving Lions fan from Dallas area, standing in store checkout with my Lions jacket on. I hear a voice behind me ask, are you ready for a whooping? I turned around and said, ask Jerry. Okay. Let's see. CL, 2024 Lions draft is looking really, really bad. Yeah, I do think they made some adjustments to it, which is why they changed things up for this past draft. So I agree with you there. All right, moving on to the next one. DM5 TV, we need to win out. I don't know if they can do that, but I still think they're very capable of doing it. Either way, Brad Holmes is down bad. Okay, with an exclamation point. Remember, Detroit is going to beat them boys. Oh, yeah, man. How much will the fan base resonate with things with the win there, and if they can double down and get against the Rams? Ludell, where is Mullen and Whiteside? I don't think they've been re-signed yet, but I won't be surprised, to your point, if one or both of them get re-signed. Same old soup. Good morning, Coach Dan, the Duke crew. Back at you, my friend, as always. JK, don't let Tom and Jerry get to your heads. Thank you. I'll try to avoid it. Broski, Dan, update on what I found out about Kirby. Yes, he was at practice. However, he was hobbling around. His knee condition will fully heal. He will never fully heal. I disagree with you, Broski Bear. I watched that video, or videos, I should say. I didn't see him hobbling at all. I saw him doing sprints, even doing some weight training. So with the best of weights pulling forward. So, I mean, I know some people have said he was limping, but man, when I watched the videos of him sprinting all over, I didn't see him limping at all. But to each their own, right? Let's see, Full Slate Farms. Can't blame this season on injury. This is Brad Holmes. Could be accurate. Rich, so what's up with Ragnow's injury? I hear conflicting opinions. I mean, your guess is as good as mine. What the Lions said in their statement, it was a grade 3 tear of the hamstring. That, grade 3 means complete tear. I mean, complete tear. Then you hear stuff saying that Frank just said, man, he thought it was just a small tweak. The dude's got phenomenal pain tolerance. I mean, they should have him in a university study with like teams of people studying him, because the guy just never feels pain. So that, Rich, that's what I can say is it possible that he had no idea it was completely torn? Based on the past with this dude and his injuries, playing through torn pecs and everything, I'd have to say there's probably some level of truth that he just didn't think it was that bad. Dennis, good morning, Coach and Dugu. Glad to see Shep is changing up things since what is happening doesn't seem to work. Excellent. Need to do something different to get a win. I'll go with that. Amy Tori Apple, you can move south and have less snow, but dang girl, Tornado Alley isn't fun either. Ooh, that's probably true. Same with, what do you call those stuff? Hurricanes. DM5 TV, Brad Holmes probably gives his wife Sheila's old furs and night grounds. Could be accurate. Hey, save some money, right? JK, forget Frank. He's done. Hopefully next year comes back. Yeah, I don't have any information on this. It's just my personal belief he will be back next year. So I guess that makes you Danny Downer in your blood pressure. Hey, it is indeed. Broski, there's no Tornado Alley in the Carolinas. No, but there is, what do you call those things? A Hurricane Alley. JK, next we'll go to the next. Big D, morning crew, back at you. Jay, good morning, everyone. Lauren Lions, greetings, salutations, Coach Dan, the Duke crew. Exclamation point. Go Lions, time to turn it up. I agree. Woo! And back at you. Rich, that's what I was afraid of, JK. Oh, well, thanks, brother. Anytime. King SJ, let's see. Good morning, Coach and Duke crew. Back at you, my friend. Blame Brad Holmes. Bunch have DDI brain. Hey, man, speaking of that, yeah, I haven't seen anybody in a minute. Somebody who's not a fan of, Pierce. I haven't seen him talk about the damn important well. Just in the words of Jim Mora, playoffs. There you go. JK, Rich, you're welcome. Hate reality, but okay. Big D, Rattledge Montgomery. We'll see if that happens. Practice, we say Trim Reaper. Brian, DM5 Alaris. Yes, sounds about right. Cheap Brad indeed. DM5, Brad sat on his hands at the trade deadline. He could have gotten sauce. He could have. I blame Brad, Coach Dan. It happens. He's going to face a lot of blame. Look, there's nothing I can say or anybody else can say. He's going to be under the gun, especially if the Lions don't make the playoffs. Courtney, Nick Whiteside, question mark. He passes eye test. I was surprised they let him go, but they don't ask me. Amy, Brosy Bear, nope, no Tornado Alley in the Carolinas, but maybe a Hurricane Alley. Yeah, we think alike there. Vito, I started taking all the peptides from Jen's website in May. I'm 63 years old. Within a month, I was feeling 10 years younger, stronger, sleep better, more energy, no more napping. Exclamation point. Thank you. Yeah. I mean, I can only tell you from my personal experiences with them, and I know a number of you guys have mentioned them, your results. I'm not going to, you guys can put in the comment section. I'm not here to talk for you or on your behalf. The only thing I'd say is that they've worked for me. How about that? Pat, some Lions fans are fake when we are up. Brad Holmes is a legend. Exclamation point. Soon as adversity hits, it's finger pointing. I'd say you just summarized, Pat, a lot of people in general. Something doesn't go right. They just want to point a finger at somebody. That's not my way, but I would say that if I was a GM, I would do some things differently. But everybody here, if you were a GM, would do something differently. All right, Henry Moore, that's right, Amy. Hurricane Alley, absolutely. Broski Bear, Amy on the coast, have fun living in the snow. Hey, you got to pick your poisons. I mean, you're going to live somewhere. There's going to be something wrong with it. I'm not aware of a super haven anywhere on planet Earth that is absolved from any kind of negativity. Just got another couch potato pick up from Dollar Store Homes. Could be. Liddell, Eric Hollett wasn't bad either. No, I agree with you there. Brian, I totally blame Brad. He needs fired, my opinion, or let's let go at the end of a contract 2 more years. Okay? Fickle says Pat. Broski, Georgia is great as well. Florida too. DM5 Brad Holmes is probably right now at Sheila's trimming the hedges and waxing her Bentley with a chauffeur cap on. I blame Brad. Okay, we'll blame Brad. Ludell, we need a length corner. Whiteside was that. He was a bigger, longer guy. And again, I think a lot of us agree he had some nice aspects about him. I was surprised they let him walk. Bruce Bear, so much better living in the South. Snow sucks. Okay, I actually like the snow. I like this time of year. I like, I mean, that's just me. I could live in a place that would had 24 hours a day of darkness. That just works for me. But I'm Batman. Let's see, JK. Don't let anybody know that, by the way. JK, need to visit Buddy downtown about his underground moonshine. There you go. Hookadoo. But Broski, some of us like the snow. Some of us do. Let's see, Jessica. Desperation. Last 5 games, you should not be talking about changing schemes. We're not good. We'll find out what they do. Riley O'Brien. Man, it feels like it's been a couple days since we've seen you, Riley. Good morning, Coach Duke Crew and Coach Dan. And back at you, my friend. Let me know if you want to come on Thursday night. Pat, I love winter. It's one of my favorite seasons. Mine too, my friend. Pat, if Detroit wants to beat Dallas and Rams, these same Brad Holmes haters would be right back kissing his. Yes, I'll go with that. Bo, good morning. Life of Riley. Pat and Brad, I trust. You got 2 right now. Any more? Good morning, everyone. Exclamation. Love the snow. Have a great day, everyone. Can we all get a woo? You want a woo? You know what? Just for you, my friend. Let's give you a 1, 2, and a 3. Plus, I get to rest my voice for a second. TM5, Pat. I'll never glaze Brad. He needs to be held accountable. There you go. Great to see you both, says Riley. Jess, Frank will have a whole offseason to recover and might realize how much he loves to be with his family. Yeah, I think he wants to be back in the locker room. I think he's very close to some of the guys and coaches. I won't be surprised if he's back next year. I don't know that for a fact. It's just a personal belief. So I want to be clear about that. JK, how's it going, Riley? Pat, Brad Holmes has been the best GM this franchise has ever seen. There is a lot of truth to that. I mean, I know we all want more, but he has been the best of the pack for at least the last 40 years that I can think of. Hooking to Henry Moore, top of the morning. Back at you, Bo. Pat, I doubt it. Brad Holmes types have their opinions set in stone. Could be. JK, Levi Stadium, meh, we'll find out. DM5, Brad Holmes probably still eating Sheila and the Ford's Thanksgiving leftovers. Cheapo Holmes, hey, I'm still eating leftovers, especially with some hot sauce, because I love that stuff. Jessica, getting to the playoffs wasn't the goal to start the season. How far have the Lions fallen? Well, if we don't get to the playoffs, we can't get to the Super Bowl. So if we get to the playoffs, we still have a shot at the Super Bowl. I guess that's the thinking, but I could be wrong there. James, greetings, salutations, coach and crew. Exclamation point. Broski Bear. Ragnow, talk this upcoming offseason will be like the Big Z talk last offseason. Time to cut cord and move forward. Teach their own. I mean, I'm not going to turn away an all-pro center if he still has energy and fuel in the tank. Say Pat, Brad Holmes is cheap but has paid out $500 million to players. How about $1 billion to players? I tell you, some fans put the dumbest stuff. Okay, Brian. Lions' issues have always been they hire people with no experience. Example, the general manager, head coach, DC, OC. Can we please hire people with experience? All right. Let's see. Egon, every team is beatable. Really anyone's year. Could be. James, greetings, salutations, coach and crew. Exclamation point. Back at you. JK. Still wondering why Brad Holmes bought Donovan Peoples-Jones back then. Yeah, don't really have a clue on that one. They had to have an idea. I just don't know what it is. Hey, more absolutely. Egon, Walter Marks, coach, whatever happened to Jason and the Tree of Destiny? We see Jason here every once in a while, especially during the live casts, but I'm sure he's working or something, but he does pop in from time to time. DM5, Brad Holmes is starting to run this team like Sears. Could be. Walt Marks. Good morning, Coach Dan and Duke crew. Woo! Back at you, Walt. Good to see you. Let's see, Jess, what makes anyone think that even if the Lions make the playoffs, what makes anyone think that it will be different results than last year? Blowout as the team is constructed, not being able to block. The only thing I'd say is, if you get to the playoffs, you have a chance. If you don't get to the playoffs, you got no chance. This is the funny thing about sports. Somebody gets on fire at the right time. I hate always using, throwbacks, but, that's what you do. Nobody really saw the Washington Commanders catching fire last year. Then they did. Then they got in the playoffs. Remember, they barely beat the Chicago Bears, who were not very good last year. Teams turn around so much from season to season, even within the season. We can all talk about teams that won the Super Bowl that barely squeaked in the playoffs, like the Giants a couple different times as they got as the final wild card team, but they won the Super Bowl. You get in the Super Bowl, you get a couple things to go your way, you can go all the way. That's one of the things I always love about the NCAA basketball tournament. I mean, really, some teams that get in as the 64th team end up pushing deep into the playoffs. Or the tournament, however you want to word it. All right, see, Pat, Brad Holmes a year or two ago couldn't pay for a sandwich in the city. Exclamation point. Fans acting like we're 2-11. Laughing out loud, this less than great franchise would still be picking first overall if it wasn't for Brandon Dan. There's that aspect of the two. The one thing I'll say is, most of you have watched sports long enough where you see somebody win like Coach of the Year. And everybody's like, man, they're getting offers from all sorts of different teams to come coach their team. And then you have a bad season. That guy, that girl, that person's a bum. And I think we're experiencing some of that with Brett and Dan right now. JK Robin laid an egg. It is that time of year for a jingle. Just got playoffs and winning them depend on two things: protecting golf and pressuring opposing quarterbacks. I agree with that fully. Let's see, Riley, great to see you, JK. Full slate farms. Time to look towards the draft. I'm looking forward to the Cowboys personally. Vincent, O-line consistency would be nice. It would be nice. Steve, they are not a good team. Well, I mean, they're over 500, and what we can say, Steve, is that puts them over the middle part of the NFL. So they're in the top 30% of teams. I mean, does that mean 70% of the league's worse than you? I don't know. To me, I view that as a pretty good team. Maybe not elite, but a good team. Full slate this season is toast. That's the way you're thinking. Full slate, we can get the 12th pick. We could. All right. Pat, the problem Lions fans got too cocky and full of themselves, was talking slick to other fan bases. Now they're hit adversity and everyone is in panic mode. To a certain degree, I would agree with that. You want to tell if somebody's really good under pressure, let something that you plan for go awry and see how you respond. To your point, and I always use this phrase, Mike Tyson was spot on. Everybody's got a plan until you punch them in the mouth. Right now, a lot of Lions fans came to the season saying we're going to be, 29-0. We're going to win it all. A couple things didn't go our way. And what are you doing? You're panicking. I can only tell you this, and from my perspective as coach, I'd cut everybody like that. I don't want you on that team. No team is going to be successful with some lame person on the sideline saying, man, we can't win. You can't win. You can't win here. Go play for somebody else. I'm guessing you're not getting picked up by anybody else. If your belief is the sky's always falling, you can't win against this team, you're right. The sky will fall. You won't beat anybody. And that's just not in sports. That's in life. I'm not telling you how to live, but I can tell you this. If you don't believe you can do something, you won't do something. JK, too early for mock drafts, in my opinion, but feel free to go ahead. Be ahead, and there you go. DM5, Brad Holmes is probably right now fetching Sheila's slippers and running a bath for Martha. Could be. Hey, keep yourself gainfully employed, right? Courtney, to quote Jim Moore, Colts former coach, playoffs. You can be talking about playoffs. Well, to be fair, the Colts only had 1 or 2 wins when they were asked about the playoffs. The Lions have 7 wins with 5 games to go. You can still get in the playoffs. Jessica, out of all the players extended, who amongst them are actually playing for a new contract? Jared Goff, anybody else? Who knows, man? I'd have to dive in on some numbers on that. I'll let you guys devise that. Phil, problem the Lions have is about every team left is play has outstanding defensive lines. Lions have no offensive line, could be bad. Yeah, but I do think, just my opinion, the last couple weeks, I actually thought the offensive line's been playing better. The first half against Green Bay, I didn't think they played well. The second half, I thought they played real well. A lot of that is, though, Phil, to your point, I think they went, for the most part, with the 6 offensive linemen out there to help out. Jessica, fix the pass rush, question mark, fire Holmes. He can't see past his wall and eagle. Could be accurate. Mastoff, get Ragnow some peptides. Ooh, that's a thought there. JK, you can't say 5 games left and then say no postseason. Well, same thing. Never mind. Okay, Pat. Phillies fans complaining. KC fans complaining. Buffalo fans. Baltimore fans complaining. It's no different here. To your point, everybody on this chat, if you would have said at the beginning of the year the Lions would have the same record or better than KC, Buffalo, Baltimore, you would have been saying, man, I'd take that all day. So, there you go. Jay, what do you got? Need to blitz more, and I think Morton should take back play calling. I wonder if they'll do that. Eddie, I love the Lions like everyone else on the Duke crew, but it makes us think that ownership could be the reason why that the Lions have not won a Super Bowl. They've definitely played a part. I think we all agree it's gotten better in the last few years under Sheila, but is there more they could do? Wait and see. David, good morning all. Let's go Lions. Exclamation point. Injured players start coaching the backups. Maybe they will. Courtney, good perspective, Pat. I go with that. Big D, what about a third-round kid? Kestel has been playing. I get everybody wants him to put up like 20,000 yards receiving as a rookie, but that's not realistic, especially when you have other better receivers in front of him. But when given the opportunity last week, he made some plays. We all, get it. All he does is catch touchdowns, yada, yada. Ron, the Lions need to have Hutch get free like Parsons, move more around. I would agree from a schematic standpoint. You can't push everyone around. Agreed with that. Ludell, I want to see Meeks and Lovett. I'm surprised we haven't seen him more, to your point. Phil, comes a time when a wife cannot watch her husband suffer. She says no for his own good. Okay. JK, did someone say Johnny Moe play calling? Laughing out loud. Thomas, the season is over. Way too many injuries and coaching deficiencies. All right, I'll just see if they'll cancel the rest of the games. Jason, they should do with Hutch like Green Bay does with Parsons, moving around, scheming guys free. Same goes with offense. There's no O-line, get pass rush out faster, scheming to your strength. I agree with you from a schematic standpoint, and I could be completely wrong. It's just my opinion. I agree with you, a lot of guys. I think often they ask the defensive line just, hey, go forward, win your one-on-ones or, 3-on-1s, etc. They don't do a whole lot to schematically help the guys. Pat, go to KC, Chiefs, Eagles, Bills, Ravens, Minnesota, etc. podcast. They all sound like Lions fans. Fire this coach or GM. Nothing new. It's fans for you. I'll go with that. Courtney, Carlton Davis at Pats. CJ Gunnar-Johnson at Bears. Where were they last? Here. They were, but you didn't want to resign Carlton Davis. CJ Gardner-Johnson, to be fair, he's been cut by, I think, 3 teams since he left the Lions. So, there's that part. Dennis, in my opinion, we wouldn't even be able to have these conversations if Brad was as bad as some are saying. Coaching after the play is easy. I love how many are smarter than they're actually doing their job. As a longtime coach, here's what I'd say. There's a whole lot of people that always tell me I'm wrong. The only thing I say is scoreboard. And if other people think they can do better, then they should sign with the coach. DM5 TV, Jason, I agree 100%. Independent Aquaman, man, talking about somebody I haven't seen him in. The worse the offensive line is, the more suffering that team's defense experiences. Our Lions offensive line is third worst in the NFL pass blocking. Yeah, I agree. There's some deficiencies there. But the only thing I will say independent is I think they played better the last 2 weeks. My opinion does not need to be anybody else's. Jake K, that would be hilarious. Brad, Mark, is this what happens when you have 2 bad drafts in a row? I actually like our last draft. I mean, the current draft. The one before that, I think most of us would agree, has been less than stellar. But I like Tesla. I like Tyleik Williams. I like Ratledge. And we really haven't seen enough of the other ones to have an opinion, at least in my view. Bears fans are super excited, as they should be, but the window closes fast, and their schedule next year will be, it'll be vastly different. But they worry about that when they get there. Right now, they just need to celebrate and go after it all. Eddie, it is upsetting to me as a Lions fan to see all the injuries and not winning championships. You are not in first, you are in last place. Ooh, I like that statement. Phil, is four-field turf eating shoulders, knees, ankles on this team? I think all fields do. With that being said, grass is always going to be easier on the body. I like what the Cardinals do, where they basically take the field out of the building, let it grow, and then bring it in for game days. I don't know if that's doable in Detroit during the winter, but it would be for the vast majority of the year. Maybe they could greenhouse it during the colder months. I don't know. But to your point, Phil, I wish they would do that. Well, Brad and Dan have been the best combination for this team ever. I'm 78 and been watching or listening in the early years since the 1953. Injuries are what have derailed us. Yeah, I'll go with that. Dennis, I agree with Walt Marks. Dennis, I am 64. It happens. Let's see. Lewis Long, Detroit Lions can win the game, but we have to wait and see. We do have to wait and see. Let's see. Independent Phil asked a possibly good question. Lions Talk Live. What about percentages? Are the Lions injuries happened in other stadiums versus the others? Yeah, that I don't have that kind of information. I'm trying to think about our injuries, but offhand, I mean, we all know the Hutchinson one last year was in Dallas. That was friendly fire. I mean, you'd really have to do some research there, and I just don't have that answer for you guys. I wish I did. Pat, Detroit core is still young, and there are fixable. There you go with that exclamation point. Do I think we win Thursday? No. All right. It happens, man. Let's see. JK, you draft injured players and projects. They have done that. I think they're stepping away from that, though. Lauren, Stranger Things. Thank you for that, my friend. Phil, coach's hair is getting long. It is. It is. Intentionally, though, Phil. Let's see. Thomas, not sure the last 2 drafts have been horrible, and free agency has been underwhelming. I like this year's draft. The draft before that, I think we all get what they were trying to do. They were trying to get extreme value with some project players, developmental players. To me, I think they believed their coaching staff could develop all those guys. I get the intention. It just hasn't produced results. But again, this year's draft, I don't have a problem with, but maybe some of you do. Well, good morning, Coach Dan and Duke Group. Back at you. Pat, Jerry makes moves to win nothing. All right. So, to your point, they have not won anything yet. He's rolled some dice, though. Independent Pat's projects are only fine to have if at least 2 players before them in the lineup are likely to not miss games, preferably at least 3 players ahead of projects. Okay, I'll go with that. Extreme Chef, the Lions have a 42% chance to make the playoffs. Hey, so you're saying there's a chance. Mark, just because they are the best we have seen doesn't mean they are good enough to win the Super Bowl. Yeah, so I agree with you there. The only question is, if you bring in somebody else, are we sure they'll be better? And I'm not saying you shouldn't consider it, but I just don't know who the obvious choice would be that we can all say, that's the person to get. Maybe you guys know somebody. Throw that thought in the comments section. I just offhand, I don't know who it is. Pat, Walt, I agree with you. Been a fan for 40 years. Brad and Dan are the best thing that happened to this franchise. I agree with that. Phil, how would you like to be a Vikings fan? The 2 top teams last year are the bottom 2 this year. Yeah, and the Vikings are not competitive. Imagine that fan base saying, you let Darnold go. You let, who's the Colts quarterback right now? The former New York guy. You let him go. And J.J. McCarthy, I get he's a legend in Michigan to Michigan fans, but he has looked less than stellar out there. And without a quarterback, I think we all get it. You're not winning this league. Eddie, is it raining down here in Hampton, Virginia? Enjoy the rain, my friend. J.K. Project Martin F. Yeah, he did not work out. I get the idea behind him. He just didn't pan out. Thomas, can't believe anyone thinks this team is capable of even winning a playoff game with the current roster, the way this team is constructed, injuries as well. Yeah, they've been definitely snake bit by a lot, Thomas. I just, it's just my nature. I don't walk into anything in life thinking I'm going to lose. I think I'm going to win all of the time. But that's my mindset and why I try to pass on to players that I coach, etc. Jimmy, greetings, salutations, Dan Nduku. Last year, we ruined Jerry Jones' birthday by beating Dallas. We whooped him down. I guess we have to do it again on Thursday. Let's see if we can. Independent, did Conan leave or did he type on Twitch or a different site? I was going to reply to them. That I don't know, guys. CJ, Amik needs to have a big game and Monty needs to touch the ball more and pound the rock. Get Tesla more involved. We'll see if they do, for sure. Jessica, learning opportunities, question mark. It's been at least 3 years that the Lions I have needed to help. Worst part, we cut or did not re-sign some players that would have helped. That is on Holmes. Yeah, I agree. There's been some moves, but that's when you're in the top seat, everybody's going to question every move, right? Let's see. Southwest greetings, salutations, Duke Crew. Woo! Back at you, Jason. Need to get that spark back. I agree. They've looked a little flat, in my opinion. Does not need to be your opinion. Michael, I'd say play to win. However, having a easier schedule next season just might be beneficial for this team. They have been at the top, and that has given them the fickle fans heartache. Yeah, I get it. So let's just say we end up third, we're going to have a much easier schedule than whoever's first or second. We all get that to a certain degree, but I don't know. It's tough for me as a coach to say go out and lose. It's just not my nature. Broderick was a home run pick for Brad, and so was Manu and Hooker and Levi, Onzarike, Josh Pascal, Terrion. I personally, I like Terrion. Levi, you did roll the dice with that back. It's unfortunate because I actually thought he had a pretty good year last year. But then the knee injury, whatever. It happens, man. Let's see, Jimmy, I don't see Davenport coming back after the season is over. Just my feeling because he is durable enough. Yeah, he isn't. I don't think they'll bring him back. What number knows, though? DM5, JMO, new wide receiver number 1, St. Brown, number 2, Tesla, 3, TK, 4, Khalif. Run him out of town. Maybe. Southwest, when Reed and Arnold was out, the defense played better. All everybody talked about was how great the backups played in the second. Yeah, I agree with you there. Thomas Davenport, Emmanuel Mosley, 2 of the Brad's best free agent signings. I'm going to say, in my opinion, the best free agent signing they made, probably Alex Anzalone, Zettler, but that was for 1 year. Zettler was dang good last year. Not so good this year. J.K. Thomas, don't forget Ivy. Ooh, getting iffy with it. Stephen, greetings, salutations, Dooku and Coach. Holiday blessings to all. Go Lions! Exclamation point back at you, my friend. All right, 3 minutes left. I'm going to try to get people on who haven't been on as much. Thomas, I'm sure glad Hendon Hooker is helping. Nice third-round pick. I concur. J.K., right, Thomas? J.K., Vaki's groin, not good apparently. Yeah, he seems to be injured a lot. Phil, snow and 19 degrees near Traverse City. Enjoy the snow. Let's see, Jimmy. This is my last game I'm attending this year in Detroit due to traveling to Texas for house showings for the last 2 weeks of the year. Go Lions. Go enjoy the time in Texas. Hey, everything's bigger in Texas, right? Mark, shut down everyone that needs surgery to be ready next year. Could be what they end up doing. Broski. Thomas, besides special teams, Vaki hasn't contributed and is really all that good, question mark. He is often injured. I agree with that. Expect more out of a fourth-round pick. They should expect more out of the fourth-round pick. Phil, too dang hot and humid in the summer southward. Okay. Mark, Cammy, all right. Ron, if you prepare for the weather, it shouldn't be a problem. I agree with that. The Rebel, Mr. Holmes has to draft better. Maybe. I'll leave that up to your guys' devices. Jay, why not move Hutchinson around like Green Bay does with Parsons? They move him to side, but I think from schematically, they don't do a lot of stunts, pulls, things of that sort. James Houston will get 2 sacks this week. Won't that come back to haunt us? Probably. I mean, you guys know I really liked James Houston back in the day. Johnny Gas Sports, good morning. Dan the Duke Crew, exclamation point back at you. JK Zedarius was copyright. All right. Dang it, my screen just froze for a second there. Phil, missing Tim Patrick. I don't know about that. I mean, maybe. I haven't seen how he's done down in Jacksonville. Let's see what we got next. Jim, great show, Dan. Thanks for that, man. You guys make it great. General Brown, okay, Batman, keep the secret between us, though. Don't let anybody know. JK, wide receiver room is fine. I would think so, but it doesn't mean it couldn't always be better, right? What can I do? Fat Chance Broski, I'll get you a tissue when you're wrong. Laughing out loud. Jimmy, I believe the Lions will get better next year. I think so too. Let's see, looking for a few more independent in bad reffing. Bad reffing has hurt us too. Dr. Detroit, laughing out loud, turn things around. Rough, not this year, fella. All right. Hey, that's the way I view it. But, feel free to cry in your own soup and expect the sky is falling. Ryan, the biggest change from last year to this year is coaching. Must be looked at and addressed. Yeah, I'm going to imagine when the season's over, they're going to do an in-depth analysis of things. Hey, more, just so everyone knows, there are 2 Henry Moores in the chat. The other is my oldest son. Oh, hello and welcome. Frank gone? We'll see. Pat? No, we're not missing Ben. We are missing Frank. Could be a level of truth to that maybe we don't always talk about. Let's see, looking for a few more. The Rebel 8, there is no dominant team in the NFL right now. Maybe not. I mean, all the teams that were number one, like Detroit, like Philly, like Buffalo, and you probably list 5 other teams, have all lost and had some big losses. Thomas Broski, Bear Effects, Leo, I'll say it again. If we play like we're played against Baltimore, we beat anyone. I concur. Let's see, General Brown, let Brad cook. He is cooking. Benjamin Brewer, Johnson was the only true coach they had. The rest is a bunch are a joke. Yikes. All right. Thomas. Okay, blame Brad for no depth on offensive line. Yodi is a turnstile. There you go. Let's see. Dr. Detroit Slappy's out in full force today. Hey, I guess that's what you want to do. Thomas, Jared will be on the IR after Thursday. Let's hope not, man. Odell, USC quarterback in the 3rd round or Oklahoma quarterback, groom him. I do think at some point, as much as I like Jared Goff, you probably do need to roll the dice on somebody. I get they rolled it with Hendon Hooker. It just didn't pan out. But just because you miss one shot doesn't mean you don't keep shooting. Thomas, hey, Brad, Dan, the future is Kyle Allen. Ooh, there's a thought. Brian, Brad drafted good. That's it. I mean, results, no NFC Championship win or Super Bowl. Haven't won anything we haven't won before. All right, I'll go with that. Let's see, Jay Thomas, I completely agree with you. They are going to feast on our O-line. Could be. Let's see if we can change that around, though. Southwest, if we play like we blew out the Bears, we'll be fine. Ooh, shots fired. Dr. Troy, yeah, I'm not taking this crap any day. All right? Not taking this crap any day. Well, I'm not sure what crap you're taking. Ludell, overshown on the Cowboys is good, and they have James Houston might be his game. Might be indeed. I'm sure he's going to have some extra energy in him for the game, no doubt about it. Thomas, I have beachfront property in Maui to sell you. All right, enjoy that. PM5, yeah, when we had the jumbo package out there with the extra linemen, they were running the ball pretty good. I agree with that. Fully. They need to go back to that, and it opens up the pass. I agree. Buy Goff, buy the running backs a little bit more opportunities. Dennis, let's go Lions. I like the way you are thinking, my friend. JK, let's do more screen passes, Martin. Ooh, I'll leave that to you guys to debate. Detroit, if Frank tried to come back this year, he'll definitely be back next year. That's where I'm leaning, but I don't know that for sure. Thomas, JK72, Dr. Detroit, they already did that with Hutch and didn't work. He isn't Parsons. No, he's not Parsons. He's different. JK, Aquaman Morton was on to something. I agree. JK, protect the offensive line, Morton. Could be what they do. Thomas, who promoted Shepard? Dan. All right. The independent Aquaman. Thanks, bud. I have to go. Enjoy your day. And woo, go Lions. Adios. Adios, amigo. We'll see you next time. Mucho gusto. Let's see. Hookadoo. Has anybody figured out Thomas Brosi Roto is Thomas? Could be a whole lot of truth there. Steven, the Lions in front office is not good enough to just be relevant. Settling up for mediocrity. We might as well be Jaguars, but even they have made the Super Bowl. They have indeed. All right, one or two more, then I got to go. Hookadoo. You're a funny man, Tommy. Could be Eckert. Let's see. Bo. Thomas Rowe, is there anything good about the Lions in your eyes? Could be somebody under a different name. Daniel Jones. Thank you for that. Thank you very much. All right, a couple more, and then I got to go. TK85 is live. Pat, Thomas, you're not here to fight if you're going to be. Thomas, I'll just say that. Obviously, I haven't read through all your stuff, but if you're going to be Debbie Downer too much, then I have to start considering putting you in a permanent timeout. David, need these games. If not, then a better draft number could be. Egon, You better not be loving your Lions lover. All right, one or two more. Trying to find a few. David, you have to believe you can achieve the unachievable. Yeah, you don't pull off upsets if you think you're going to lose. I'll go with that. All right, take care. See y'all tomorrow. Go Lions. Woo, back at you. All right, guys, I got to go. I got to get ready for work. So if there is breaking news today, I'll get it over to you as soon as possible. Otherwise, if you would be so kind, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, hit all the buttons. Take care. Enjoy the rest of your day. Do something kind for someone you don't know. Have a good day, and we'll see you all on the next Lions Talk Live. Take care, all. Which one are you going to play here?
Excuse me, sir, would you... Donations to Reverend Moon? Jews for Jesus? Read about Jehovah's Witness? How about Buddhism? Help Jerry's kids? Oh, yeah. Scientology? Or nuclear power?